everyone, it's Nicole Jones from NicoleJones911, and today I'm up on the Crafty Maven Getaway for the Art Party Friday, and we're going to do some watercolor stuff. I did have some questions about, because I mentioned that I have a remote for my camera, which is my phone, and all it is a remote control that came with a selfie stick, like it was all part of it. I think if you Google selfie stick with a remote control, and then it just works with your cell phone. So then I use it as a remote control to start my camera on and off. So I'm going to use some watercolor paper and some dazzlers that are creamies and inklings that I had gotten quite a few months ago. And actually, this part of the layout was actually done, I'd say, about 4 months ago. And you can tell, like, I had a different picture taken. This is not what I'm going to do for this layout whatsoever. I thought I was going to use this picture. I could have used this picture, but I ended up doing something else with that picture. So I just did the background and I kind of put it away in my stash. And I thought, someday I'll use it. And that someday was today. So this part of the video was actually done. We're January right now, so it was actually done probably in August. It was a long time ago, and I didn't use it. I don't know. I just didn't want to use it that day, and didn't feel it. I guess I couldn't find the right papers or whatever the case was. Maybe I just didn't use it that day, and you saw I started one thing, I didn't like it, flipped the paper over. So I was just really indecisive that day, I guess. I'm using a number 10 brush, a round brush, and with the creamies and inklings in the teals and aquas, that's probably one of my favorite colors to use. And I'm just adding some color to the background, and you'll notice probably a difference in the color of the videos too when it changes, because like I said, it was months later, so probably the sun wasn't even in the same place, and now it's winter. Back then it was summer, so the lighting is quite a bit different. So I'm just adding some different colors of teal. I'm spraying water directly onto it, and then I'm just letting it run. Not really sure exactly what I was just playing. And then I'm going to take out a template, and that template is from Dear Lizzie. It was actually from a collection a few months back. I actually got it in one of my hip kits. And so those inklings and creamies, what you need to do is they're dry when you get them. Don't be alarmed. That's the way that they're supposed to be. And actually, I kind of like it that way, because then you don't have to worry about your paints drying up and that they're no good. That's the way they are. You just add some water to the top. So just spritz water, and it activates the color, and then you use it. And then when I'm done, what I do is I leave the covers off until it dries up again. And then I put them away. And I know that these things are going to last me forever. I've gotten quite a few in the last few months, and I've just been playing with them quite a bit. So this is the template I was talking about, and I have also some dazzlers and textures, and they're like a modeling paste. And the difference between the dazzlers and textures is the dazzlers is like a modeling paste, and except it's shiny, and it comes in really amazing colors. And then the textures are also like a modeling paste, but they have like grit in it. As you can tell right now, like when you open it, it's not as smooth as the other one. And even when you put it on the cardstock, like, to me, I mean, I still like them and everything, and I've kind of gotten over it, but the first few times I used it, it was like nails to chalkboard, that feeling that you get. And I was like, oh, because it just the feel of my palette knife up against it. But I've gone beyond that now, and I just love the stuff. And so I'm just adding the two shades. One's a little darker than the other, And then I'm going to put some in 2 spots of the layout. And then I'm going to also add a 3rd spot just so that, and I'm going to do it after the fact, just so that I have a 3rd spot at the top. Just to add some interest, some variety in the colors and everything. And like I said, this color is probably one of my favorite to use all the time. Now, when you saw at the beginning of the video, I had the picture or the inspiration for this week, and I did look at it, and if I wouldn't have used this base because this was already done, I probably would have done it a little bit more, but what I took from that was the brown tones in that, and then there was a little bit in the blanket, there was some orange. So even though I did this page, like I said, months ago, when I flip to the present, I'm going to add some brown and some orange. Now, did you see I added a bunch of water, and then when I added the paint, how it ran with the paint? Oh, I love that. And just love that. And you can tell there I had also my older Fitbit. Now I have a newer Fitbit, which, by the way, I'm having issues with it, but I'm going to try to figure that out. But now I'm going to set that aside, and we're going to fast forward 5 months. And then and I just didn't delete this part of the video because I thought if ever I want to use it, then I'll have that part of the video on how I did the background. Actually, I almost deleted it quite a few times. And then I thought, no, I really like the background. I think when I first did it, I was like, it's okay. But then once I left it there and left it alone, I really liked it. So this entire page took me about 2 hours to make between the first part and then this part. So I actually sped the video times 8 because, I mean, it's almost 18 minutes as it is. And if I would have sped it up times 4, it would have been like a 35, 40-minute video. And that was just too long. So now this was today. I did that the 8th. No, the 7th of January. And I just got in this template from the Crafter's Workshop. Oh, I love it. It's called Butterfly something. It's from the Crafter's Workshop, and I got it at scrapbook.com. And this is where I'm bringing some brown. So I went and got I have some brown textures paste, and I'm going to add it all the way around. And just being careful, I covered the butterfly that was in the center because I didn't want to do the butterfly. And what I have is I have a huge roll of masking tape. And that's made for like stamping and stuff. And I've had that for years and years and years. And I use it sometimes. So this is one of the times that I used it for. I just covered the butterfly, and it's sticky. Like the whole thing, the whole roll, the whole length of it is sticky. So I was able to cover the butterfly. And I just added just what I wanted around the circle. And that was another thing in the inspiration. It had a bunch of shoes that were in the form of a circle. So that's where I got the circle there. And then I brought in some brown because it had a lot of brown tones. I also used some colorings, and that's a spray from Shimmers also. It's called Chocolate Brownie. Oh, absolutely love that color. And then I have I only have 3 colorings as of now. I should be getting some more sometime this week or something. And the other one I have is Oh Say Can You See and Oh Blew Me Down. And I use them all the time. I actually keep them on my desk because I want to use them all the time. Now I brought out some orange shimmers, and sorry, I don't know which colors I use of the shimmers for the first part because like I said, I did those a long time ago. So for the orange, I got the Sun-Kissed, and it's an Inklings, and then I got the Just Peachy, and that's a Creamies, and then Can't Elope, and that's also a Inklings. And then I got the My Clementine, and that's a Creamies. So the difference between Creamies and Inklings is the Inklings are shimmery and the Creamies are creamy. So you can see now that we're in sort of now time because I have my new Fitbit on. And so I just, what you do again, you just add water to the top of it and you get them activated. And then I just added some splatters using a paintbrush. Now I'm using the collection from Amy Tangerine. Let me see. I have it right here. Rise and Shine, which is an older collection. And one of my goals, which I forgot to put on my video that I did the other day, but one of my goals this year, which I'm going to put on my sheet though, is I want to use a lot more of my older stuff. So this is, the beginning of that. I went into my stash and found a whole bunch of, it was a whole collection of Amy Tangerine Rise and Shine. And I think it's, some pieces might be from Finders Keepers. For some reason on her collection, she doesn't write down the name of the collection, which makes it a little hard when it is on the pattern papers, but it's not on the embellishments, which makes it a little hard to tell you what I'm using, but it is all Amy Tangerine stuff. Now I'm just playing around with some layering of the pattern papers. I printed a photo of my middle daughter, and she just sent me a selfie, and that she just sent me that a couple weeks ago, so I just wanted to scrap it. And the title of this layout is going to be Go Getter, because this kid is 22 years old, but man, she's a little go getter. And man, I knew I had a different way of putting that tag. And when I put it together, it's not like that at the end. I still like the way I got it, but when I went to put it all back together, I was like, I thought there was a certain way that I had this. And I mean, it works out, but sometimes I wish that you could instant replay your stuff that you do so that you could see what you do. I know a lot of people take a picture of their layout, but I actually film with my iPhone, so I can't take a camera if it's filming, take a picture if it's filming. So that's all right. It works out in the end anyway. So I just mounted the photo on, it's a 4x4. I mounted it on orange, and then there's a few shades of orange. There's a wood grain, and there's a grid pattern too. And now I'm just going through all the embellishments from the collection. And another thing's going to happen too on this video is that my battery dies. And usually it makes a sound when it dies, like the sound of turning off. But I was watching a show, and if it did do a noise, I didn't hear it. So all of a sudden, I don't know why I looked up, but anyway, the camera was off. So it's going to skip a little bit ahead here, but I'm going to kind of show you, everything that I did there. But I'm just going through the embellishments, and there was a little package of washi tape in this also. So I'm just using some washi tape in orange and then in the teal. And where I added that extra cluster at the top, then it made it a perfect place to add a cluster up there. One of the 6x6 pattern papers that I cut down, it had little X's on it. So I just cut a strip of that, and I'm going to use that. And I'm using also the die cuts that came with the Amy Tangerine, either the Rise and Shine or Finders Keepers. I don't know if I ended up putting the two collections together or they're very similar, which I find a lot of these collections, they use a lot of the same icons and stuff. And so a lot of the collections, even though they're different tones in color, they have some similarities. And talking about that, this is the week, or CHA is coming up like next week. I think next week. And I've been kind of looking everything online, everything that is new. And I have to say my favorite collections up to now is, of course, Chamel and Amy Tangerine. And what was the other one? Was it a crepe paper one? There was 3 of them that I really liked. So I'm going to try to keep it to 2 collections I'm going to get. I'm going to try to keep it to 2. So this is where the battery died, and you skip ahead, and I've just added, some embellishments, some enamel dots. And now I dug into, this is a brand new that I got. Janet told me that Scrapbook Generation sold the Doodlebug design, those little alphas that I like so much. So I went on their site and I bought every different color that there was. So I used the tangerine one. They're called Tinsy Type Doodlebug stickers. And I just love them. And so I just wrote my title right above the pattern paper where it says Go Getter. And then now I'm just adding some thread just to add a little bit more dimension and interest to the layout. Now I found it was a little plain on the edges, even though I added it on. I cut it down to about 11 3/4 by 11 3/4. I mounted it on some brown cardstock to bring in more of that brown color to ground it. But I found it was still a little too kind of floaty or not enough definition. So now I'm ripping some edges. I'm taking my palette knife, which is like a metal one, and I'm roughing up all the edges, and I'm going to rip some edges just to add more distressed look to it. And here's a few close-ups of all the embellishment clusters. And that's it. That's going to complete this layout. I know this one was a little quick, but where it took me 2 hours, it would have been like 35 minutes of a video. So I want to thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to check out the Crafty Maven Getaway. They upload a video every day. And join me on my YouTube channel at NicoleJones911. Thanks for watching. Bye.